Game 2 of the SC2 Improved Winter Series here today, and uThermal is our purple Terran player in the upper right hand corner from AT Gaming, currently leading 1-0. In the bottom left hand side, again, cross positions, it's our blue Zerg player from Samsung Galaxy, ladies and gentlemen. It's Solar. Alright, so, expecting to see a little bit more of a normal game this time around. And, yeah, just expecting to see a little bit more of a normal game, basically. So we're going to pop down a gas and just extract a tricking. Of course, he's not actually going to take a gas on 10. Again, guys, I'm not going to lie, and I am going to use the excuses today. I've not had very much sleep. I stayed up all night, and I stayed up all night studying for my exam. I sat my exam this morning, came home, had lunch, and now here I am casting. So I've not had the most sleep. So I'm probably going to say some questionable things today. And you know what? I don't really care at this point. I'm just happy that we've got games on the screen. You know, if the game is on the screen and I don't mess up with the overlay, that's good enough for me today. It's not going to be the best of days. Alright, so, a bit of a more standard opening from both players this time around. It's going to be a Reaper opening from uThermal, as Solar just going to take his hatchery first down here on the low ground. So hatchery on the way down for Solar on his natural, and will he take a third hatch before pool, or is he just going to go for the pool next? We'll most likely just go for the pool next, free hatch before pool. Not very common, and he's actually going to take a gas, so hatchery, gas, pool. So a little, it's still a greedy opening actually. Shouldn't wait too much longer on this pool. We'll see how many more drones he wants to make before actually getting that. No more. So just hatchery, a couple of drones into the gas, then into the pool. So first Reaper is actually first Reaper just on the way here for uThermal, and looks as though it's just going to be a single Reaper, no second depot, so not really going to have the supply to make a second Reaper, and that's going to be because he's just going to use his minerals to put down the command center. Then he's going to build a reactor, so he doesn't need that extra supply depot for now. So it's just a bit of an optimization of your standard TVZ build. Skip that depot. So skip the depot just for a little while. So first Reaper about to pop out. I guess we should follow this across the map. He's going to know that this is cross spawn since he's already scouted that vertical position, and we'll just confirm right now as he comes into the main base with this SCV. And again, now 100% confirms that there is nothing in there. I mean, again, an aggressive opening from Solar last game. He just wanted to make sure, quite often you'll see 10 players when they're scouting just check the natural and then nothing else, and then move away. Even just going into the main base there. Not too significant, really. I mean, he had the Reaper on the way to the other side of the map already, so may as well just 100% check the SCV. A couple of hits going down on a drone there, and this next drone also going to have to become an extractor to stay alive. First couple of things on the way out, and it's going to be the Queens again, which are really going to be the saviours here. uThermal not going to pop up into the main base, where there has been a gas, of course, taken by so that's already mined 100. And we saw that being taken just before the pool, of course. Queen now out will help to deflect this Reaper. And again, with that earlier gas, Zerglin's speed is about halfway done. With Zerglin's speed halfway done, uThermal is going to have to be a little bit careful with this Reaper. He doesn't want to lose it. And Solar right now, again, is he going to make just a swell of Zerglins and try and get something done here? A couple of Marines out, nothing at the wall just yet. And Natural Command Center looking to be looking to be a little bit undefended should a big swell of Zerglins come in, and he's actually going to go for a tech lab here, so he's going to go for the kind of standard abusive TVZ build here on Deadwing, where you just kind of abuse this low ground and siege your tank up and use the medevac for high ground vision, and you just kill off an overlord here. So Solar losing that overlord, an orbital command being made on that natural now, starport again on the way, and again, I mean, a big swell of Zerglins would do great because there's no helium production, but of course, how is Solar to know that? If we check his vision, well, he's seen the factory, but he's just seen it building next to the reactor, and, you can't really tell anything from that. That's just a standard position, so a couple of lings here might catch a single Marine. More lings coming across, and again, this is the kind of scary part of this, as Solar moving forwards will have quite a few Zerglins, and he will be able to wrap around these Marines, and how many of these will he take down? Well, every single one. Not really much of a surprise there, and he won't be able to do too much more with this, but it looks as though uThermal Well, he's actually going to keep both SCVs alive. That's actually a little bit surprising to me. I'm surprised Solar didn't pick these off. So that's a little bit interesting. First tank is out, and this medevac on the way. He has got 4 Marines out, so you can lift up 4 Marines and the tank in that medevac at the same time and head across the map with all of that. A couple of Queens actually starting to work down on these rocks, but that's not going to be done in time. Maybe if the Zerglings were over there helping, it would be. The 4 Marines actually just left over here to defend, and that's actually probably a smart move. No, he doesn't have a wall up at the natural node, and there are speed lanes out on the map, and that his opponent has already been aggressive with them. So uThermal will continue to build up his wall now, and again, he is safe at this point from these extra Zerglings, as some Queens and Zerglings continue to work their way against this rocks. But again, these rocks are not going to go down in time. The tank is already on the way in here, and the spine crawler from Solo, that's not really going to be able to be in range to help out much either. And uThermal going to drop this tank, sieges it up, and here we go. Some damage going to start being done, and already Zerglings on this high ground taking some damage. Drones taking some hits as well. 2 drone kills. That's going to be a few more here if he keeps going for the tanks. If he keeps going for the drones, he's actually going to target these Queens a little bit right now. He needs to be careful. I mean, Solar can transfuse. It's not the end of the world if they take damage, as some drones do get transferred away. Most of the damage drones there, which is a nice little move because it does allow him to just keep them alive. And this tank actually on stage just here to take down these Zerglings a little bit faster. Moves away from that spine crawler. More Zerglings on the way, and it looks as though these rocks will finally be able to go down. Of course, uThermal can pick up and then move over towards this base where he can siege up the 3rd. And that's probably going to be the next stage for him here. Picks up the tank, gets out of there. He's already traded fairly well. How many kills has he got on the tank? 14. Not too bad for a tank early on here. 8 roaches being made by Solar. And looking as though he's going to be... well, we'll see what he's going to be doing here in a few moments' time exactly. Second medevac comes across, and a tank comes in and a few Marines. This first tank going to have to be picked up. He is going to get picked up just in time. Excuse me. Does resiege that now, and we'll have 2 tanks siege up. A few roaches on the way across, and coming in. We'll be able to fight from the low ground until these Zerglings get picked off. But it looks as though the Zerglings are taking a long time to go down, and uThermal loses both of his tanks here. Gonna head back across the map right now with these medevacs. As another medevac actually loads up, just 8 Marines this time. And have we got stim down? Surely we must have stim. No, we don't. So no stim yet. And this is the problem with this build from uThermal. His stim is very delayed. So the delayed stim, we have a medevac coming over to the left-hand side. We have a few roaches moving forward as well here. So 6 roaches moving forward as they're going to try and hit the supply depot. Rolling, oh, turned away by a tank. And there's again these 8 Marines coming down the left-hand side. Let's see how much damage they're going to be able to do here. There's a few roaches. Not actually going to commit any further forward. He's not committing too much more to these roaches. He's going into melee upgrades behind this. Baneling Nest on the way as well. As another medevac starting to come across here. This medevac is unloaded in the main base, so they're completely unaware to this right now. And of course, without stim, these Marines aren't going to do as much as a normal drop would do. You know, if this was a drop with stim, you can imagine it's going to be kind of 10 drones or so. But here, I mean, Solar pulls away immediately. He's going to get a couple of drones. But again, he just doesn't really have the potential to chase. He's going to get that Queen potentially. Picks off a couple more drones here, perhaps. A couple more drones. He's in a good position on these minerals as well. Drones actually being pulled back. And with some target fire, you could take a few more of these down. But he's just going to pick up, get out of there at the same time. Dropping in towards this 3rd base. And getting a little bit more worker damage done. Picks up once again. And boosts away. Once again dropping back into this main. And a little bit more damage being done. His Queen slowly picking away at these Marines. And then Marines will go down. 10 workers killed in total here. Solar, not too worried about that, I'd imagine. He's still 15 workers ahead. I mean, uThermal's 3rd base is a little bit late landing. He's going to get this down now. He's starting to get into a bit of a better position here. Scan came down there to deny a single creep tumor. Would have been nice to get the rest of these, but wow, what the hell, Solar? He's going to put down a hell of a lot of creep tumors here. I imagine that's not actually... Well, he's not actually going to put down that many creep tumors. Where the hell's the Queen that's doing this? There they are. A couple of Queens on the way down from the main base. He's just going to put a couple of creep tumors down. Not the 10 or so you see here. uThermal's starting to build up an army though, and with 1-1 finishing and stim finishing as well. With 5... I mean, look how many medevacs he's got. 5 medevacs. I don't think he's lost a medevac yet this game. He hasn't. Now, if he hadn't lost them initial 2 tanks, this push would actually be very, very scary. 3 tanks would be... you know, ridiculously dangerous at this kind of point. Coming across here, Solar will spot this with the watchtower. And already some Banelin's finished. No Banelin's speed just yet. So he has to be careful if he does want to engage into this. There's no combat shields on these Marines either. Both players stop their 2-2 as well in that production tab. So behind this, both of them are just continuing on with their macro game. And uThermal just going to try and loop around here. If you can get into this position where you can siege down here, again, it's going to be a position where you can try and abuse this mineral line. And, you know, force a reaction out of Solar. Maybe force Solar to take a fight he doesn't want to. But it looks as though that's not really going to end up being the case here, as I'm not sure where that Zergling we just heard being shot was. Maybe actually on the tower there. So Marine just clean out the tower. Mutas are now out though for Solar, so he's getting into this kind of later part of the game. Invested in roach speed as well, so kind of interesting there. Looks as though he's not really going to go for the kind of standard mass mutaball. It looks as though he's just going to kind of play with a few mutas and then with roach bling ling mostly on the ground. Quite interesting though to see, you know, if you play Roach Bling Ling, generally you want to be very swarmy. You know, you want to be playing only Roach Bling Ling because you just want to overwhelm your opponent with sheer numbers of units. So a little bit weird to see mutas and roaches and, you know, and banelings and zerglings all together. Unless that roach speed is just a bit of a misclick here, because he isn't making any further roaches just yet. He doesn't really have that many roaches out on the map, only 6. So Medevac is turned away. Well, does turn away from the Mulus there. Does not want to get himself picked off. And, well, these Mutalisks going to be coming in towards this third base here. Bunch of Zerglings positioned over to the side, and we might see them be aggressive, could morph a few of them into Banelings. Although this is a map where it's pretty hard to kind of attack a third base on, because of course this third base for the Terran is where he's sitting his army. You know, it is the defense for his natural already, so it's going to be hard to get any kind of Baneling run by. So these Zerglings just sitting here might try and run by once the army moves out, might try and come in from behind for a surround once that army moves out as well. Also a possibility here. So they're creeping up the middle of the map. Both players' 2-2s are finishing in terms of upgrades. A lot of creep tumors coming in here. So they're finding the opportunity to get that infestation pit down. Up on 4 bases, I mean, once you can get that infestation pit down, you can go into hive, you can go into your 3-3. And with your 3-3 and hive, you can, you know, go into pretty much anything you want. As uThermal here, maxed out, going to go for this big push across the map. And is he going to be able to take down Solo? This is going to be the question. These mutas are already looking for a couple of medevacs to pick off, and they're going to find them. They're going to start boosting, and they will actually be saved here, thanks to the Marines. And uThermal already fairly well pre-split here, as more Banelings are being invested into. Scan comes down to start cleaning up some of this creep. Here come the Banelings, and this is a lot of Banelings, and there's no mines or any kind of mech in this army. It's just pure Marine Marauder medevac, and these Banelings streaming forward a few at a time. It's not really efficient at all, and they're all going to kind of just retreat into nothingness. Marauders leading the charge here. I mean, the Banelings don't want to attack into them. You know, the last thing they want to hit into is Marauders. In fact, there's just no Zerglings here, and that's the real problem right now. 88 Zerglings in reproduction, but Solar has just lost, you know, so much for doing absolutely nothing so far. Banelings starting to stream forward here once again. The splits from uThermal are going to have to be pretty good because he is on creep, but look at this. They are pretty good. And a lot of these Banelings are going off, and uThermal will get cleaned up. He needs to get them medevacs out of there. These Mutalisks will give chase. There's a lot of Zerglings underneath. uThermal should be okay with reinforcements. In fact, he's got plenty of reinforcements over here. Looks as though he lost some SCVs to a little bit of a run by though. And maybe that's what them Zerglings were doing back over on this side of the map. So a few SCVs down to a run by, and if he hadn't lost those, he'd be in a pretty good position right now. He'd be in an okay position because that was a fairly even trade. You can see, in fact, uThermal trading very well there. SCVs being pulled to repair up the medevacs, making sure he keeps them on high health, makes it harder for the Mutalisks to just pick a couple of them off too easily. Solo, though, with a 5th base up and running, what can you do about it? It's, well, 5th base up, I mean, you know, uThermal is not really... Well, I know early on in the game he's been aggressive. Early on he was dropping, but he hasn't really tried to drop since then, and maybe that's something you can invest into. You know, right now he sees the mutas are in the middle of the map, for example. That's a perfect opportunity, and he sees them moving over to the right. It's a perfect opportunity to set up a drop, head it around the left side, and see what you can get done with it. Solo, with the run-by attempt here, is going to get these Zerglings caught between a rock and a hard place, honestly, as he's now going to run them straight into this army. At the same time, though, the mutas attacking towards the third and natural. All of them Zerglings do go down, and uThermal are going to have to stim forwards here to catch these Mutalisks. One of them going down, and Solo will now escape up to the top side. And, well, Solo just sitting in the top corner now. These Zerglings coming over to the right side. And we'll try and come up here and see what they can do as Marine Marauder, again, pretty much maxed out here. 140 army supply for uThermal. No 3-3 though, and the lack of a 3-3, the lack of a 4th base, kind of starting to suggest that maybe he just doesn't want to invest too much in the long run here. He just wants to try and end this game now. Another run by Solar. A lot of reinforcements though, and these reinforcements should be enough to clean up these lings, as at the same time he's moving forwards here. First few Banelings moving forwards. And again, no mines in this composition, so it's all about the splits. It's all about them Marauders tanking the damage. Already a significant amount of army supply lost, though, for uThermal. 50 more Zerglings in production straight away for Solar. As again, Marauders leading the charge here, and here we go. uThermal going to start splitting, going to start trading against this army. How well is he going to be able to trade against this? Well, it looks as though he's just kind of getting torn apart right now, and Solar is just going to overwhelm him here. Kratz is called.